acknowledged that 2019 has been a bumpy year, but will say the path is never smooth, but small steps can heal divisions. Well, I'm joined now by Victoria Howard, the editor of the royal news website, The Crown Chronicles. Thanks very much for joining us on Christmas Day. So, 3 o'clock, we'll hear from the Queen. We've had a snippet already, and she has acknowledged that 2019 wasn't the best of years.
Exactly, and many people are reading into this that, of course, while she talks for the nation as our head of state, with Brexit and other political issues going on, she might also be reflecting on her personal family life with the Prince Andrew scandal, with Epstein. Earlier last January, Prince Philip's car accident when he then gave up his driving licence. And then, of course, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who have had a bit of a shaky relationship with the press this year.
Yes, and talking of them, we're looking now at a picture of the Queen as she talks into the camera. There's no photo of Harry and Meghan behind her. Should we read anything into that?
No, absolutely not. I'm sure when we actually see the entire message, there'll be other family photos and they might feature in that. But the ones at the foremost in the video, they will always be important family photos, usually related to sort of lineage and to represent the future of the crown. So we see Prince Charles and Camilla, the next king and queen, and then the Cambridge family, who obviously follow on from that. So it's not a snub in any way. It's just the branding of the monarchy, if you will.
And of course, it's been a huge year politically for the United Kingdom regarding Brexit. Will the Queen nod to that, do you think?
She may thinly talk about it in a thinly veiled way. So faith is a big part of her life, and she may incorporate that into sort of a message of unity against division in this particularly political year. But I doubt she'll mention it by name.
How important is the Queen's message today, do you think, in modern Britain?
As head of state, I do think it is important. Many people do sit down and watch it. And in fact, for the last couple of years, it's been one of the highest ranked and most watched programmes on Christmas Day. That's how many people do sit down and enjoy that sort of 10-minute interaction with their monarch. The faith element might be less important to many people nowadays, but I do think people appreciate that personal time that they get to see the Queen, because it's one of the few speeches she actually writes herself.
And of course, it's not just a message for us here in the UK, but also for the whole of the Commonwealth.
Exactly. So this will be available to other Commonwealth nations on the radio. It will be on the royal family social media channels as well. And it's a chance for her to connect with all those millions of people, which she doesn't often do.
You've mentioned the difficulties regarding Prince Andrew of late, but we did see him, didn't we, heading to that early morning service in Sandringham today?
Yes, he was seen walking with Prince Charles up to the church. So Sandringham is a short distance away from the church itself. But he chose it's been described as personal reasons, to stay with the Duke of Edinburgh at the house rather than go for the main family service. And that's probably a smart move. There's crowds that draw for this main service. And having stepped back from public duties, he's managed to find that balance of enjoying that family time and a personal event, going to church, but also sort of staying away from the public limelight, which I think is sensible.
And two very young royals attending church on Christmas Day for the first time.
Yes, that was lovely to see. Prince George and Princess Charlotte joined their parents. They walked hand in hand down to the church, and then afterwards they went to the crowds that have gathered to collect Christmas cards and flowers. And Princess Charlotte even got a bright pink inflatable flamingo. So I'm sure we'll hear about that in the coming weeks from their parents.
And of course, a happy Christmas for the Queen this year, because her husband joins her. He was discharged from hospital yesterday.
Yes, Philip spent 4 days in hospital for a procedure relating to a pre-existing medical condition. So the palace is trying to assure us it's nothing to worry about. But he left just before 9 o'clock yesterday morning and headed straight up to Sandringham for the Royals' Christmas, when it actually begins. So the Royals follow the German tradition and they open presents on Christmas Eve. So he was there in time for that.
Excellent. Have you had your lunch yet, Victoria?
We have. We eat quite early as a family, so we're on to desserts and drinks next.
Excellent. All right, well, enjoy your afternoon and evening. Victoria Howard, thank you very much indeed. Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas.